All right, look, I know that Madden it sucks. Madden's awful, but I'm going to be honest with you. When I saw these ratings, I was legitimately mind blown. And full disclosure, I'm a Green Bay Packer fan, so let that skew all of my opinions however you think that they'll be skewed. I'm probably going to hate the Bears a little bit more, and the Lions and the Vikings, and of course, I'm going to love the Packers. But just in general, these ratings are trash, team. Also, two more things before we get started. I kind of forgot that the Patriots and the the Commanders, sorry, and the Vikings and the Broncos all took quarterbacks. So that's kind of my bad, but I don't know which of those guys are actually going to be starting, so it does kind of skew my ratings of some of the teams a little bit later on because I don't know who's going to be playing quarterback, but I also don't know how good these rookies are going to be, and I don't really think a lot of them are going to be knocking it out of the park in year one. So keep that in mind. Also, if you like the video, leave a like and subscribe and leave a comment and all that good stuff. Okay, all right, let's get into it. So let's just get right into it. I'm just going to go through every team super quick. Some of them I'm probably going to agree with, and if I do, then I'll just pass right by it. But some of these, I've already looked at a few of these, and some of them are egregious, dude. So, like I said, let's just get right into it. Look, the Cardinals are 72. That's fine. The Cardinals kind of suck. Most of the players on the Cardinals kind of suck. Kyler Murray as a 77 is kind of disrespectful, but I can't really disagree with anything about the Cardinals. That's fine. The Falcons as an 81 feels too high. I know that they've got like a good defense and they've got good players on the team, and they signed Kirk Cousins, which we'll get to in a minute because, wow, I'm upset about some quarterback ratings. But they just haven't shown that they can do anything with this talent that they've got, and I feel like 81 is too high, but they've got a new coach. Maybe the Falcons will be okay. I'm not that upset about this one either. So I'm re-recording two of these reactions because I think that I reacted a little too harshly the first time. One of them is the Ravens. I don't think the Ravens are as obscene as I first thought they were after seeing the entire list. I do still think that Lamar is too high. I know that he won MVP last year, but I don't care. I don't think the dude's a 98. I don't think he's the second best quarterback in the league. I think he's overrated. But the team as a whole is very good. They added Derrick Henry, who may or may not be the Derrick Henry of old. Probably won't be as good as he once was, but maybe as good once as he ever was. But an 87 isn't. It's probably pretty accurate for this Bills team. I complained about this a ton in my first review going through, and after seeing the rest of these ratings, I think you'll agree with me that an 87 is pretty accurate for the Ravens. The Bills are a 90, which makes a lot of sense, but I don't know how they're a 90 because they've only got one player on the team that's above a 90, so I don't know how that math works, frankly. But Josh Allen as a 92 feels disrespectful. Josh Allen as a player, as a quarterback, I think is one of the best in the league, and I don't get this 92 thing. I also, like I said, I don't understand the full team rating, but the Bills are good. This is also mostly fine. This is absurd. Why are the Carolina Panthers an 80, guys? The Panthers were like, what, 2-15 last year? Hang on, I'm going to look this up. Yes, they were literally 2-15 last year. They won 2 games and lost 15, and they're an 80. All right, sure, I guess. I don't know why, honestly. I don't get this one either, but whatever you say, Madden. Okay, the Bears are a 76, and I'm going to be honest, I kind of thought the Bears would be higher. They should frickin' be higher than the Panthers. I don't, that's still blowing my mind. But the Bears added a lot of really good players this offseason, and they drafted really well. Madden always kind of keeps drafted players overalls down a bit until they kind of prove themselves during the season. But they added Keenan Allen. They added DeAndre Swift. The overalls on this team look higher than the overalls on the Bills even. So I still don't understand this overall rating. But well, whatever. If the Bears suck, that's great. I'm happy as long as the Bears suck. This is interesting though. I just realized They don't actually have the ratings of the rookies out yet. So maybe they'll go up as these ratings come out. I'm really not sure. The Bengals are at an 89, which is again pretty much fine. The Bengals are a pretty solid team when everyone's healthy. They went to the Super Bowl in 2022, so like I get this one. I don't like this idea that the only high-ranking quarterbacks in the league, the only players that are basically above a 93 are Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, at least. I feel like Joe Burrow, when he's healthy, he deserves a 95 at least. But yeah, for the most part, Bengals, they're fine. The Browns at an 87 feels wild to me, though. This team just hasn't shown the ability to really win games, and they don't have a functioning quarterback. So I don't get this one. Deshaun Watson's rating. Deshaun Watson is a 74, which is kind of insane. That's just rude, honestly. But, kind of rude what he did to 104 women or whatever. So I get it, but they don't have a quarterback. So I don't know how you can have a team that's rated an 87. They did manage to go 11-6 last season. So, sure, I guess. This feels high to me, but it's not egregious. This is the second team that I'm re-recording my reaction to because I think that I was a little hard on the Cowboys. They are a team that went 12-5, and I love to hate on the Cowboys because everyone loves the Cowboys. And because my Packers absolutely blew them out of the stadium in last year's playoffs. So you're welcome, America. But realistically, the Cowboys as an entire team are very good. They have a lot of very strong players. Micah is great. Zach Martin's great. CeeDee Lamb's great. 96 is kind of high, but I don't even necessarily disagree with it. These two corners, I'm still not sure have proved themselves. Trevon was hurt all year, so I don't know why he's an 89 when a lot of times coming off injuries, guys are lower, but whatever. Dak, I do think is too high. I've seen this stat comparison floating all over the internet at this point that Dak's stats over the last 50 games look like Patrick Mahomes' stats, whatever. I think if the Cowboys were to sign Dak to the same kind of deal that Patrick Mahomes has, the Cowboys would no longer be a 12-5 football team because the strength of the Cowboys is that their entire team is quite strong. Dak's really a lot like a modern Tony Romo. He's an above-average quarterback that is made to look a lot better than I think he really is by the fact that his entire team is pretty darn good. But anyways, as a whole, the Cowboys as an 88 is still kind of a little high, especially given some of the teams that are further down the list. There's one in the bottom half of the list that is a much better team in my opinion than the Cowboys, and they're ranked lower. Cowboys should probably be an 85 or 86 in my opinion, but this is by far nowhere near the most ridiculous rating that I have found on this list. Somehow the Denver Broncos are an 80, and you'll see why I'm so annoyed about this once we finally get to the team that I was talking about earlier, who I love dearly. The Broncos have one good player on the entire team. Cortland Sutton's, a decent player. Javonte Williams is fine. Everyone else, they just slapped an 80 on because they didn't know what else to do with them. But they literally don't have a quarterback as far as I know. I think maybe Zach Wilson is their starter. He's a 68. So this team's an 80. That blows my mind. The Detroit Lions are an 83, and again, I made the statement at the start of the video that I'm probably going to be a little lower on the NFC North teams, but I feel like the Lions should kind of be higher, guys. Like, the Lions have been a good team, and they were really competitive last season, and an 83 feels kind of disrespectful. They've got a lot of really good players. Again, these ratings look higher than the Bills, who are a higher ranked overall team, so I don't get this math. But they have a fairly decent quarterback. 82 is pretty solid for Jared Goff. Laporta, I feel like, should probably be a little bit higher, but he had one good year. Madden doesn't like to give high ratings off of 1 year. But overall, I feel like the Lions should be like an 85, 86, if I'm being honest. But again, if Madden wants to make the Lions suck, go for it, guys. I'm not going to complain. This is the reason why I made the video. I I just... Why? Why? We were a good team. We won a playoff game. Like, what? We won a playoff game. We kept pretty much every good player on the team. Oh, we cut David Bakhtiari. D-Bach hasn't played in like 7 years, guys. That's an exaggeration, but he hasn't played in a really long time. I don't know that he played... He might have played like 2 games all of last season. We lost Devondre Campbell, but he's just like, who cares? We lost Aaron Jones, which sucks. I'm still heartbroken about that. But we got Josh Jacobs, and I don't get this. But the thing that might make me the most angry is the fact that Jordan Love is only an 81 in this video game. Like, he had such a good year, guys. I mean, I know he struggled at the start of the year. He did not have a good first half of the season, but he had an MVP. He should have, if we just based it strictly on the second half of the season, Jordan Love was the MVP. You can argue with me about that, but statistically, it's true. He had an incredible second half of the season, and they gave my guy an 81, and they gave my team a 79. My team that won a playoff game last year is lower than the 2-15 Carolina Panthers. I just now saw this one. I didn't know that they did this to the Texans. Why are the Texans lower? What are we doing, Madden? Why are the Texans lower than Green Bay? Well, I'm not even going to argue that, but why? Oh my gosh. Why is CJ Stroud an 80? I know they only had one good year, but guys, you got to give them like an 85, 86. Love and Stroud played fantastic last year. Like, and this Texans team is possibly a Super Bowl contender. What are we talking about that they're a 78? All right. Sure, Madden. Sure. Whatever you say. We're just going to keep going down, I guess. The Colts are a 77. The Colts, I feel like, are better than a 77. They're definitely better than the Panthers. But they're not that good. I would probably have the Colts around an 82 or so. The Colts finished last year at 9-8, which is a pretty solid record. But again, feels like they should maybe be a bit higher. Whatever. I won't argue that much over the Colts. I will, however, argue that the Jags feel kind of high. They lost their only real receiver in Calvin Ridley. And what do they have Trevor Lawrence rated as? Trevor Lawrence is a 76? Oh my gosh. Dang, EA. Wow, Trevor Lawrence is a 76. That's crazy, guys. That is wild. I can't believe they've done that to Trevor Lawrence. He didn't have a great year, but a 76 is like borderline backup, and this dude just got paid. So the Jags better really hope that he's not a 76 in real life. But I guess the rest of this is kind of fine. 84, whatever. I don't think they're much better than the Colts. They're definitely not 7 overall points better than the Colts. They should be closer, in my opinion. The Chiefs, of course, are a 92. I won't spend much time on this at all. The Chiefs are incredible. They've got an incredible defense. They've got really good offense. Pacheco's a little high for me, I think. But everything else, Kelsey's a 99, Mahomes is a 99. Chris Jones, realistically, should probably be a 99. The Chiefs are a fantastic football team, and a 92 might not even be high enough. Won't get many arguments from me there. The friggin' Las Vegas Raiders have the same rating as my Green Bay Packers, which is insanity, frankly, in my opinion. I don't even know who their starting quarterback is anymore. I don't think they know who their starting quarterback is anymore. Is Aiden O'Connell the guy? Is that who they're really rocking with this season? I didn't even know that. Dang, Devontae's a 94? That's kind of rude. But he didn't have a great year. He had Jimmy G throwing to him. Well, he had like a slew of guys throwing to him. The Raiders just had a rough year. They should probably be lower, in my opinion. Max Crosby is great. Devontae is great. I think if anyone should be like a 77, probably the Raiders. But that's whatever. 79's fine. An 85 for the Chargers feels crazy. I'll be completely honest. I don't get the 85 for the Chargers, and I don't get an 87 for old Justin Herbert. The Chargers lost a lot of their an 87 for Bosa too. That is brutal. The Chargers lost a lot of their really good players. They lost Eckler. They lost Keenan Allen. They lost Mike Williams, I believe is his name, the receiver that's always hurt. I guess if they'd have kept those guys, they would have been like a 90, but they didn't. We'll see. I don't think that's absurd for the Chargers to be rated an 85, and I kind of think that some of their players, I think Joey Bosa is better than an 87. I think Herbert's better than an 87. But the Chargers really haven't performed at an 85, so that's a little high to me. Oh my gosh, they've got the Rams at a 73, and honestly, I can't really argue with this. Cooper Kupp at an 88 feels really low. Matt Stafford at an 83, he struggled. The team struggled last year. This is honestly, Kyron Williams I think is a little bit better than an 84, like an 87 maybe. Puka was great, but again, 1 year good. Apparently 1 year is good enough to be an 84 for a receiver, but not for quarterbacks. So that's really cool. But yeah, I can't really super argue with the Rams being bad. This is probably what the Panthers should be also, but I digress. The timeout, actually. I just looked at the Rams' record. The Rams went 10-7 last year, which I didn't realize that they finished the season that well. That's kind of crazy to me. Why is this team a 73? Oh, they lost Aaron Donald. Oh, Aaron Donald retired. Duh. Yeah, okay. Well, that's like the entire Rams defense gone if Aaron Donald's gone. Okay. I don't know. Should probably be a little higher than a 73. That feels kind of wild for a team that went 10-7 last year. But I get it. Losing Aaron Donald is a gigantic blow. It would be to any team. The Dolphins are an 86, man. That is really, really high. They've got Tyreek, who is, of course, he's Tyreek. Their offense is just insane whenever everyone's healthy. I don't know about their defense. I don't know. This rating feels really, really high to me. They didn't perform at an 86 last year. They finished the season 11-6, but still, I don't know. It feels weird. An 86 feels too high. I hate Madden. I hate this franchise. I hate Electronic Arts. Why? Why are the Minnesota Vikings an 85, guys? This just blows my mind. They don't have a quarterback. Who's throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson? Is Sam Darnold going to be starting for them? Is that who they're actually going with? I can't fathom how this team is an 85. They finished 7-10. They finished with the same record as the Bears. They finished worse than Green Bay, but they're 6 points higher than Green Bay. I thought we were 77 for a second because it just keeps going down in my mind. Somehow they're 6 points higher than Green Bay when all they've done during the offseason is lose their starting quarterback, signed our old running back, and I think that's it. I understand that there has to be like some element of looking forward in these predictions, in these overall ratings, and so they're trying to assess what the teams are going to look like next year, but this just feels wild, man. Why are they so high? I don't get this. Why are they an 82? For what reason are the Patriots an 82? They were abysmal. Do we just suddenly think that they're going to be like a contending team from one of the worst offenses that has existed in the history of football last year? Okay, whatever. I'm not even going to fight about this one. Sure, EA, sure. An 82. Now, the Saints were 9-8 last year, which is like probably an 82 is about what a team that went 9-8 should be. Maybe a little bit higher. The Saints have quite a few good players on defense. They've got Kamara, who's only an 86. That feels pretty low. Olave at an 86. Alvin Kamara is not a better running back than Chris Olave is a receiver. I don't know. That feels really weird. Derek Carr at a 75 is rough, but I don't even think that's that inaccurate. That's probably about right. The Saints might be one of the most accurately placed teams in the entire game, from what I can tell. The frickin' New York Football Giants are an 82, guys. I don't... We signed, like, one of their best players. We took Xavier McKinney from them. Yeah, I know that this video, like, most of it is just me complaining about the Packers' ratings, but I'm just... That's, like, my baseline, like, what I'm trying to compare everyone else to, I guess, because that one particular thing just does not make any sense to me. Darren Waller retired, so maybe the lists aren't super accurate. Maybe I'm making this video for no reason at all, and everything that I've been looking at isn't real. But this is what I've found. It's on MaddenRatings.com, so I have to assume that it's accurate, and I have to question why the Giants are an 82. They went 6-11 last year. I don't. Okay. All right. The Jets are an 84, and I kind of get it. The Jets do have a chance to be really good. Aaron Rodgers at an 83 hurts my heart as a Green Bay fan. But what can you do? You know, the guy got hurt in 4 plays last year. When he played for us, the last time he played for us, he wasn't Aaron Rodgers of old. So I don't know. I get him being this low. But roster-wise, the Jets really do have a good collection of players. I just don't know that they'll be able to put it together because they've never been able to put it together. But on paper, I actually do understand the Jets being an 84. I guess it still feels high just because they've never actually done anything with this roster. But sure, whatever. It's less insane than some of the other crap that we've seen. Bro, the Eagles are a 91. Why are the Philadelphia Eagles a 91? They had one of the worst meltdowns of any team ever in the last half of the season. They were atrocious. And I know another rating a little further down that will put this further into perspective as to why I find it just so outrageous. But I don't get this. Yeah, the Eagles do have some really good players. Jalen Hurts at an 87 actually feels accurate to me. But they lost Jason Kelce. Like, I don't know, man. A 91 is insane for a team that broke down as hard as they did at the back half of the season. The Steelers are an 81. They're a consistent 9-8. TJ Watt is a 97, Minka's a 93. All these things make sense to me. The Steelers are very accurately placed, in my opinion. Good job, EA. Good job for, like, the second time in the entire list. This one makes about as much sense to me as the Packers one does. The 49ers have, in my opinion, probably one of the best rosters ever put together in football, and the team is an 86. They've got 8 players that are a 90. Why is the team an 86? How is this team 5 points lower than the Eagles? This team competed. They took the 92 overall Chiefs to overtime in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl last year, and they're rated an 86, and I don't think they lost any players that I can think of off the top of my head, so I don't get this. I don't get this at all. The Niners should be a 90, at least, man. The Seahawks are an 83. This is fine. Where's my boy Geno? Man, they got Geno at a 78. That's kind of rough, but this isn't as stupid as some of the other crap that we've seen. An 83 for the Seahawks feels about right. They're a pretty good team, around average, sometimes above, sometimes below. Geno should be a little bit higher, but that's about the only complaint that I've got. The Bucks also kind of make sense. They went to the playoffs and didn't do bad, They've got a handful of guys that are pretty good. Chris Godwin at an 85 is a little rude. I think Geno's better than Baker. Whatever. You can argue about that. Geno, in my opinion, should be like an 82, 83 maybe. Baker is 79, 80. This one's fine. The Buccaneers are not that big of a deal. The Titans are not a great football team. They did add Calvin Ridley, but they don't really have the quarterback situation sorted out. DeAndre Hopkins is probably a little bit overrated at this point. I think the dude's too old. They added Tony Pollard, but they lost Derrick Henry. The Titans are probably going to be one of the worst teams in football this year, so I won't argue with this one. The Washington Commies are higher rated than my Green Bay Packers, and I don't get it, team. Okay. Actually, I didn't realize that they signed Eckler. I also didn't know that Madden hated Austin Eckler and only has him rated as an 82. That feels stupid, frankly. Scary Terry is an 89. I don't know that I knew that they also had Bobby Wagner. So, like, those two players do bring the commies up a little bit, but they're not better than Green Bay. I don't know. Maybe my opinion is like really, really, really heavily swayed by my fandom, but we put a smackdown on the 88 overall Cowboys last year in the playoffs and get a 79. But whatever, man. No one ever said that Madden made sense. No one ever said that their ratings make sense. This is just further proof that Madden's stupid, dude. Madden is really, really stupid.